Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to be talking about 5 reasons why freelancers fail and how you can avoid them. Now, basically, we're not just going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about the reasons and how you can get out of them if you're already in them and how you can avoid them if you haven't fallen into them yet. Okay. So this is day one of the 28 video challenge. I think I'm going to be recording a video every day for the month of February. So let's see how it goes. All right. So let's get started. Now, 5 reasons why freelancers fail and how you can avoid them. Now, number one on this list is not realizing that clients don't stay forever. And that's one of the biggest reasons. That's why it's number one. It's one of the biggest reasons why most freelancers fail, right? I've taught hundreds of freelancers. I've helped people become freelancers. And this is one of the most popular things I see. So some people, they get their first client. The client is paying them, let's say client is paying them $1,000 monthly, $600 monthly, $2,000 monthly, right? And they feel like, oh, this is money, this is real money, because obviously, let's say they've not really handled the amount of cash before. So it's like going from your 9 to 5 job where you're earning like 50K a month, 30K a month, and then you start earning all of a sudden, you're earning 507K a month, right? It blows your mind. Or even depending on the kind of job, it can be bi-weekly, right? It can be like per week. So you're making like 1 million a week, 1 million a month. So it can be 507K every 2 weeks. So that's 1 point something million per month, right? So this blows their mind and they feel like, oh, I have arrived. So obviously now, wage status, so people get stuff. I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy your money, because obviously one thing about this online thing is that if you get money, I feel like you should set out for your business and also make sure you actually enjoy it, because let it be tangible, right? You've converted it from dollar, everything, most of the processes are not going to be physical, right? So you're just going to be there, your account balance. So prepare your mind. It's okay. It's okay if you want to enjoy your money, and that's fine. But most people just rely on this, and sometimes they fail to understand that there is a freelancer to what is there, right? So why for some people they get a long-term job, and that's fine. But to get a long-term job where you are working with them for up to above 3 years, it's actually very rare. If you can check the statistics, it's actually very, very rare, right? Some jobs you might get that pay you $2,000 a month. It can be for as long as 5 months, 3 months, 6 months, until they get a physical location, until they get this thing. A lot of that happened during this pandemic, right? Before, as people started returning back to their physical offices, especially towards last year and then this year, they have been dropping the client. They feel like they have been working on a contract basis, especially since they don't want to go the remote way again, the remote way of work again, right? So they have to come back to working physically with others or people who are willing to move to their end. So that's one of the reasons why your clients might drop you and the rest of that. So these always happen. And there's also the issue of this is particularly Nigerians, where some people I don't know how to put it, but like they just get their ego gets up and they're like, oh, I'm too much, I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of weird. But basically their ego is inflated. They feel like they are doing it now and they don't need to send more proposals, they don't need to send more pitches and the rest of that. They have arrived. No, that's wrong. So basically it only takes a while and you can see that the job is good. So that's why even when my students rush to make a testimony, especially the ones who got up to $1,000 and above, and I'm like, just know that this is, I always tell them after telling them congratulations and how proud I am of them. I always tell them, just remember that this is just the beginning. There is so much more you can do. So don't forget to keep sending proposals anytime you're free. Okay, that way you don't have to wait. When a client is dropping you, you probably have another one you're working with, or it won't take you long before you get another, because you number one, you've not stayed up sending proposals, so you've actually been honing that skill, and you are getting sharper at sending cold emails, cold messages, and proposals on Upwork or whatever platform they're using to find your clients. That's number one. Number two, you might already have 2 or 3 clients who you're working with or you've put up before. You can just hit up and be like, hey, what's up? I'm kind of free now. Can we work together? And that's it. So that's that's the mistake people make. And actually, I gave you guys how you can avoid it. Always be prospecting. It's simple. And my mentor Winston just say his ways of saying this is always keep your pipeline full. So basically, always be prospecting. It's because sometimes there's something that happens once in a while for every freelancer. It's something called a job drought. So you might be sending proposals, but for that 2 weeks, 1 month, depending on how good you are, you might not get any job. And you're sending out proposals, seriously. So you don't want to, once you've escaped it from your beginning stages, You don't want to go back, start making money and fall back into it, right? So do that, save money, save from cash or it and the rest of that, and you will not have this problem. All right. Not everyone, but most people get out of this if they actually have the mental bandwidth, but some people are so fragile they don't get out of it. Now down to number two, and it says not putting in the work. And this is quite simple because as a freelancer, you have to understand. And I understood it since, but I think last year it brought it so much into limelight for me that you have to put in the work if you want to get more results, right? Because as a freelancer, your time is tied to your earnings. So basically, depending on the kind of jobs you do, you can decide to take a project, and in that project, you set your time. Most freelancers get the ability to say, as a freelancer, you actually get the opportunity to set the time you want to work for a week, right? So that's fine. Except you're working with a company and you guys agree on hourly time frame where you can work 8 hours a day, and you can still set your time of what time you want to work with them for the 8 hours a day, right? As long as you're putting your own share into the team or this thing. But the point of this is that if you are working an hour a day, 2 hours a day, don't expect the same results or don't expect faster results than someone who is working this thing 4 hours a day, 6 hours a day. Especially if you guys have the same information and you guys know the same thing, and you guys have the same information and acting on them. Okay, so you want to put in the work. I understand that freelancing is easy money, and that is actually very true. It's easy. It's simple money basically because for a beginner, you can get paid as much as 1 million naira a month. Like let's say you're a beginner and you get a good job with a startup company and they're paying you $2,000 a month. That's over 1 point something million naira. And do you know what it takes for you to earn 1 point something million naira in the Nigerian office? You have to have been like people who have been working in a company for up to 15 years now haven't even started scraping that level yet. That they're not even earning up to 500,000 naira a month, and you're making that in this and don't forget the bonuses and everything, right? So you want to it makes it so like I said, that's easy money. But if you're not putting in the work, you won't get to these levels or you won't stay at these levels for long. So always make sure you find time to put in the work. If you want to work 2 hours a day because you're busy, it's possible, but you have to make sure that you're working on the things that move that keep the boat moving forward. Make sure you're working on the most important things. Okay. And once you can find time, make more time. So you can go into this fully. You can have more time to go into this fully because it's always going to be more a higher revenue generating activity than whatever it is you are doing online. Okay, so let's go to number 3, and it says failing to have an online presence. And this is one big mistake I see people do. Those people are the shy type of people. If you are like an introvert like me, I don't consider myself that much of an introvert again these days, but basically you don't want to have an online presence, right? So for some of you who know me, I came out, I actually established myself around my freelancing like last year, around May last year. So, but since then I've been making a whole lot of money on freelancing, right? But I don't talk about it, right? But the main point is that's not the point. The point is that you also have an online presence. So you have to get rid of that fear of what will people think of me and this and that. I have an online presence. Now, if you don't have an online presence, you can get clients, right? After all, you have a portfolio, you see what I've done, this, blah, 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 you know stuff about the job and they'll hire you. But having an online presence makes it easier for you. And it also correlates with this number 1, which is not realizing that clients will stay forever because you have more access to this thing. And people know you that, okay, this guy's name is, let's just use my name for this. This guy's name is Walter and he does graphics design, right? So maybe if your main client lays you off and you just tweet that I'm looking to work with like 2 or 3 businesses to help improve their graphics and their visual aesthetics, and you get people DMing you, that's one of the reasons why you want to have an online presence. So many reasons, man. Guys, the world is changing, and having an online presence is as your own personal brand, one of the best things you can do for yourself to scale up easily and to make life more comfortable for you. And then there is the number 4, false sense of security, and this is basically a parallel of number 2, which is not putting in the work because you feel like, okay, I have a client, I'm making $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, so I'm now secured, right? So you're spending more because as a salary person, you're most likely going to be spending your money because it's come back next month now. So basically, you're going to spend your money, especially if you're working with one client, you don't work with multiple clients. So you're working with 2 clients at $1,000 a month. And you know that every month on, let's say 28th of every month, both of them pay you $1,000, right? So you know the money is coming up. So there's a tendency that you can start spending as high as 800,000 naira a month before your salary, up to 1 million naira a month. And before your salary comes in, once you have less, it's like 100,000, once you have less, like 200,000, 20,000. And that's a false security because anything can happen. That's why I told you guys I've already explained most of how it happens that you can just find out that you're out of job one day. And it doesn't have to be your fault. That's the main thing. It doesn't have to be your fault. You might even be the best person in this, but sometimes they might just lay you off for no reason, or your client just go AWOL. What if something happens to your client and they're health-wise and they can't attend to you, or God forbid, they just go through or they die, or something like that. There's so many scenarios. So that's the first source of security, and you want to make sure you avoid that, right? And you avoid that simply by make sure you're putting in the work, keeping your pipeline full. I already explained that earlier in this video, and having a presence online, right? Basically. Now, this is number 5, and this is something I need to talk about, and it goes failing to understand their words. So now most freelancers fail to understand their words, and not in the sense that it's in a lot of senses actually, but some freelancers are really good at what they do, but they're charging peanuts, charging $100, $20, and that's bullshit. You need to raise your price up, right? But there are some freelancers, the newbies, who just want to straight up start charging $1,000, $2,000. And I'm not saying it's not possible, but charging $1,000, $2,000 for your first gig puts an immense pressure on you to deliver. And if you can't, and that pressure, you might fold under it and deliver subpar work. And if you deliver subpar work, that's the client is going to get mad. It's not going to work with you. It's not going to recommend you. It's going to take a hit to your self-esteem. You're going to feel like an imposter and the rest of that. So you have to understand a particular place where you are in the game. Now, this doesn't mean you don't start charging nonsense. So for your first gig, you can charge anywhere from $100 to $500, even $1,000, depending on if the client agrees with you, that's fine. But make sure that once you are understanding your work, that you understand your work and you actually put in the work there to get it. So guys, if you are charging low and your work is really, really good, you want to make sure you charge higher. And there are so many reasons that you might not be able to charge higher. It might have to do with the industry you are in, the type of clients you are working with, and the rest of that, right? So in that case, upskill and the rest of that, do better. Okay. Now on the aspect of charging above your words, that is just pure greed, guys. You have to understand that everything is in stages, right? So it depends on what stage you are, and freelancing is the fastest stage where you can make $500 this month. That's even manageable money, 270,000 naira. And then by the third month, you are making 1 million plus, right? But everything that matters is your experience and charging your words. You can also tell the clients, you'll do the first work for them at this. So if you are scared that you're going to fuck it up, that's fine. But basically, it's okay if you charge your first work above that amount, but just make sure you're not being greedy and charging your clients more. And the easiest way to do that is by charging industry standard price, right? So find a way to find out the industry standard price for stuff in that your niche and charge that amount, okay? That's fine. Then as you get better, you're becoming an expert and rest of that, increase your price. You don't have to become an expert, right? You can be averagely good, and because at least you are getting your clients' results. That's what matters, guys. Get your clients' results. If you design a website, let them be like, oh, this is nice. I really love this, right? This is so great. And I want to work with you. I want to sing your name. If you are doing copy for them, let the copy get conversions or at least impress them. And the rest of that, okay? So guys, that will be all for this video. And today is the 1st of February. And first of all, happy new month. Secondly, on the 15th of this month, the High Paid Freelancer Premium Program, which is my premium course for freelancers, where over the last 5 months they made over $171,000, and the rest of that is going to be going from 25,000 to 35,000 naira. So if you haven't gotten in yet and you want to get in, I'll leave a link in the description of this video. Get in, and you'll be able to save 10,000 naira. That's amazing. It's not just the price is not just going. I'm also improving the cost and the rest of that. But why wait to where you're going to pay an extra for that? And obviously, the price is also going to increase from 35,000 naira in the nearest future. So that's the information I want to give you guys, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video.